So there's several things that have to happen before you can really make your dream come true. Of course, you have to have that dream. That's finding your purpose and finding the dream that you want to accomplish right now. And then you've got to start to believe that you can. And then you have to have faith. And then you have to have some vision about what it's going to look like. Because without vision, it's going to become difficult for you to really imagine having, doing, or being what you say you want to be. That vision is so important. It's all part of the creative process. And that's our fifth principle in this law of success is having creative vision. And the way I look at it, creative vision is having the ability to imagine, to dream, and mentally practice the desired outcome with detail and emotion. When you can actually see what you want to be, do, or have, it's amazing what you can do and how quickly it can happen in your life. It's different than having a fantasy or just a dream. It's actually taking that dream and putting it into action in your mind so that you can see it. Everything that's around us was originally created by somebody's vision. They had their creativity going when they invented the chair. They had their creativity going when the Wright brothers created the airplane. They saw they could fly and they had that desire and the ability to create what they saw in their mind. And then they created it in their reality. Creative vision is really, it's more than dreaming. It's more than working on something. It's actually designing it. It's building it in your mind and letting it happen. Great inventors have talked about the fact that they built it in their mind first and they built it with their hands. One of my mentors, Bob Proctor, always taught the imagination is probably one of the highest faculties of the human mind. And it's possible to create and connect with it intentionally. You don't have to just let it happen. But if you have one of those dreams where you wake up in the middle of the night and you think, man, I want to do this or I know how to fix this, well, then maybe you fell back asleep and forgot. That's why you keep that notepad by the bed, right? But when you have those creative dreams and you get that vision that's going to make it happen, you can build on it. You can build in your mind the creative ability to close your eyes and start to visioneer that new idea. And with that new idea, you can take that vision and start to build it out. You can breathe life into your dream simply in your mind before you do it in person. Think about how easy that is. It's like taking what you're going to do in the future, making a movie of it, looking at it, and then going out and doing it. I remember reading Jack Nicklaus, the golfer, once said that every shot he takes, he stands behind the ball, he takes his grip. Before he takes his practice swing, he actually sees the ball going exactly where he wants it to go. With that visioneering, with that idea of the creative imagination going first, you can always do what you want to do. Now, sometimes we get worst case scenarios coming in there. And that's tough because you don't want to fall into that. You want to look at that and invert it, go the other way. If you see the worst case scenario, just think of the opposite of it and how that might work. Always come up with the way to take a vision of it, to see it, and then move forward. You know, this vision process, this creative process really helps you to believe that it can happen. It reinforces things. It helps you really get going. It helps you to believe and to shape the future that you want. Some of the things that you can do to create or strengthen your creative vision is spend some time in silence. Let your imagination breathe. Sit in a dark room or in a room where it's quiet and relax and just think about what you were trying to do and let your imagination run with it. You can ask yourself, what does this idea really look like? How would it look if it was the perfect way that I want it to be? And then, like I said, when you wake up in the middle of the night, maybe journal it down, write it down so you don't forget. And then maybe you have a vision board where you keep pictures of what you think it's going to look like and remind you every time you look at it. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to feel like. You fall in love with the vision, and it's much easier to build on it and to build into it and do it the way that you want it to be. It becomes easier for us to say no to the things that won't work. Somebody comes up and says, you should do this. And you know that won't work because you've already seen the vision of what will work. You can say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep going the way I'm going. You can also keep going better when there's a setback. We have to realize that just like Edison with 10,000 times that he tried to make the light bulb, you can't give up after the first time. So many of us give up before we do the first time. But after you do it the first time, you may have to adjust and change things a little bit and do it again. Hopefully not 10,000 times like Edison, but you've got to make those changes, and you can think that through in your mind, and you can use the creative visioneering process to make it easier and better. So this week, think about what it is that you're doing. Get focused on your dream. Get focused on what you want, your vision for you down the road, and take 10 minutes and just get in a quiet place, either morning or evening, or maybe you have time at lunch where you can close your eyes and think about what that looks like. Give it to your mind before you go to bed at night. One of my favorite things is to write something down before I go to bed. Then I go to sleep, and it's amazing how often I wake up with the idea how to do what I was thinking about before I went to sleep. Think about it this week. Don't just judge it, go try it. Try to use some creative visioning to create, to do, be, or have whatever it is that you want. Use your creative senses and make it happen. I'm Jeff Mays. I'm your success coach. I'm here to help you. And I hope this little reminder today has helped you to move forward and start to work on your vision in a creative way. Thanks so much for watching. If you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it so much. Take care. Have a great week.
So focus on the positive, keep negativity at bay. You'll become what you think about every single day. From the moment you wake up till you lay down at night,